Welcome to the 60 Plus Podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. How are you, Janet?
Yes, I am. I just sneezed.
Oh,
Besides that, yes, I am.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was a segue, Joe.
It was an attempted segue. So what are we talking about today, Janet?
Allergies.
Allergies.
Yes.
Allergies or how allergies can be acquired or
And built.
change for 60 plus people.
Exactly. And this is kind of a follow-on to that episode we did about aging is not necessarily linear, that there's like big molecular transformations in the 60s. And that may be part of the cause of this, but there are also some other factors,
All kinds of
apparently.
factors.
Yeah.
It wasn't in my 60s, but I developed a shellfish allergy a number of years ago.
Bummer.
I know it was for someone who grew up in New England, grew up on lobster and clams and all that kind of thing. It is a bummer.
Yeah. Well, and I just developed a paraben allergy.
Yeah, which is so.
In
But
everything.
when I tell people that I developed the allergy later, it hasn't been a lifelong thing. They're like, "Oh, really? I didn't know you could acquire an allergy like that."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are surprised by that.
In fact, all my allergies were definitely well into my adulthood. The
Well,
ones that I have.
well into your adulthood.
Yes.
Okay, is that what we're calling 60 plus? Well into our adulthood?
Yes, I love that. It makes it sound so much nicer and more mature.
Well, we are
Way
quite
more
mature.
mature than I really am.
A paraben allergy. What?
Oh, let's not talk about it.
No,
It's just like it's in everything, It's in shampoo and conditioner
I've been
and
noticing your
skincare
hairs
and
differently. No,
stop. Not true.
no, it's not.
I
I'm
just had
joking.
to basically throw out like so much stuff and start all over again. But it's on the increase. So more and more companies are going to have to create clean stuff, clean makeup,
Mhm.
clean soaps and things of that nature.
Okay.
But it's also in mayonnaise. Isn't that weird?
Well, that's another reason to stay away from mayonnaise. People that know me know I find mayonnaise to just barely qualify as food. It's vile
It's
stuff.
not really food. It's a condiment.
It's vile stuff, though.
Yeah,
it's just
not very.
really awful. Maybe it's a good idea to just explain in layman's terms what an allergy is. Don't you think?
I guess. And people don't know.
Well, I mean, they know that you can develop hives or sneeze or like me and shellfish, it's anaphylaxis, which means I can't breathe.
Right. Yeah. That's real dangerous.
It's something that happens when your immune system overreacts to some kind of food or foreign substance
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't normally affect you in that way, that wouldn't be harmful to your body.
Right.
So it's your body overreacting to something.
And in fact, that's one of the main reasons why you get allergies later in life, because there are changes in your immune system over time.
Hmm.
And so your body is more sensitive to certain allergies.
My history,
Mm.
a number of years ago, I developed a shellfish, all shellfish, couldn't have any shellfish at all. And then several years later, they retested me and said, no, it's just crustaceans, not mollusks. So mollusks are clams and scallops and oysters, that kind of thing. And crustaceans, lobster, crab, shrimp. Surprisingly, octopus and squid as well.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
So I developed the allergy, and then part of the allergy went away.
Yeah. Well, that's like penicillin. They say that you should get retested for that if you had
Mhm.
like an allergic reaction when you were a kid. I had it when I was a baby, and I just recently got retested for it because she's like, you really want to know if you can take penicillin.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't have an allergy to penicillin.
Well, a lot of childhood allergies you outgrow,
Yeah.
particularly food allergies. Not necessarily nuts, but milk, eggs, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my sister, like if she touched a carrot, she would break out in hives.
Oh, yeah.
That went away.
Right.
The allergy, not the hives did too, but
Yeah.
so there's a number of reasons why people can develop allergies later in life.
Mm-hmm.
Changes in your immune system,
Yes.
environmental factors,
Right. Especially if you move to like a new
a
location.
new location, or even a new house or apartment.
Well, it's interesting you should say that because when I moved to the city, that's when I developed severe allergies, which is kind of counterintuitive. You would think that being surrounded by trees, I would have had a lot worse reactions to trees, for instance. But what the case was is that because the air quality of the city is so much more dense, and I came to find out that they plant the trees, male trees, which don't have berries that mess up people's cars and streets
Oh,
and stuff,
interesting.
and they emit more pollen.
Oh, so you're allergic to males.
No, I'm allergic to pollen.
Okay. Hormonal changes
Yeah,
a-
that too.
as we get older.
Yep.
Genetic predisposition. So
Right.
my father developed a shellfish allergy later in life.
Yep.
I did, and my lucky daughter, she got it in her 20s.
Oh, poor daughter. Well, it's funny that you should say that because now I remember my mom kind of giving up makeup and stuff because she used to get like really itchy eyes and stuff. So maybe she had a paraben
Oh, that's very
allergy
possible.
and didn't know it.
Hmm.
Hmm,
Well, things we learn just on
I
the 60
know.
Plus podcast.
Yes, it's always a surprise.
Viral and bacterial infections can alter your immune system in a way that leads
Will lead
to
to allergies. Yeah.
allergic sensitivities.
So fun.
Getting older is so much fun.
Well, it beats the alternative.
I say that all the time.
I think there are many fun aspects to getting older, actually,
I agree.
Hmm.
No, I agree.
which is why we
It's
have this podcast, as
it's
a matter of fact.
it's like most things, there's pluses and minuses.
Yes, yes.
What can you do to minimize or prevent allergies?
Well, that's a good question. The other thing is that before we go there, just looking at some of the stats around this, if you are suffering from allergies, there's actually 50 million people who suffer from allergies.
That's I'm
That's an
surprised.
amazing
I
number.
would have thought it was higher,
And
actually.
it's growing, though. It's growing. But 5 to 10% of Americans over the age of 65 are living with chronic allergic reactions or experiencing allergic reactions for the first time. So we know that our population is aging. And in fact, by 2030, 20% of Americans will be over 65. So again, those allergies are going to increase again and again. So what do we do about it from a more global standpoint as opposed to an individual standpoint?
hmm From a global I don't know.
Well, you know what I mean, like more universally in our
Mhm.
environment, for instance, and things of that nature.
Plant male trees.
Well, no, plant female trees.
Oh, oh, I thought.
The male trees emit the pollen, the female have the beautiful berries.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that
Oh.
birds and the bees kind of thing?
Well, I don't know, Joe. That's a
I
different
never had that talk.
That's a different episode. You never had that talk. Oh God. Yep.
So there are things that you can do to minimize the
Exposure.
likelihood of developing an
Yeah.
allergy. Just minimizing allergen exposure.
Right.
Because sometimes it's just your body is overwhelmed with.
Right. Well, that's like what some people are wearing masks, and not just for COVID, but for during the allergy season, pollen season. You
Mhm.
see people wearing masks. That's to keep it out of your sinuses and
Sure.
your system. Yeah.
Another thing, you mentioned this or alluded to it, avoiding overuse of antibiotics
Oh.
because overuse can disrupt the microbiome, which
Mm.
plays a role in your immune system.
Interesting. Well, there's also one of the things that we should talk about too is the type of allergies that tend to develop in the aging audience. It's
Mhm.
not just hay fever pollen related, it can also be insect allergies and skin allergies, which I've just experienced, and food allergies,
Which I developed.
which you developed, and drug allergies.
That's an interesting one. And there was one type of drug allergy that I wasn't even aware was possible, and it's to aspirin.
Iodine,
So
penicillin. I'm reading it. I'm reading. Yes, ibuprofen.
Janet's doing her research live on the 60 Plus
This
podcast.
is a live studio audience.
And these
Oh, chemotherapy drugs.
These drug allergies can range from a mild skin rash to severe anaphylaxis.
No, that is not good. That
And
is not good.
I've had one anaphylactic episode, and it was not a pleasant thing. It was really, it's kind of scary.
I had one too, actually.
It's not a competition.
Oh, come on. I
Tell
did
me,
it.
tell me.
Mine probably wasn't as severe as yours, but I was scared and I was in the car and I was trying to get home to get some Benadryl. I had ordered this carrot juice and there was probably, 1,000 carrots in this one thing of juice. And then all of a sudden my throat started closing off.
Were they whole carrots?
Yeah. I was like, why am I allergic to carrots? And what was later explained to me by the allergist was that because carrots grow in the ground, they can contain a lot of pollen.
Oh.
So if your body's already got a lot of pollen in it in the
Mhm.
spring, which it was in the spring, and then you have this huge dose of more pollen, then your body just was like, overload.
Mhm.
And that's what happened.
I was on the third bite of a 4-pound lobster.
Oh,
Mm.
did you finish it?
No,
Just
no,
kidding.
I couldn't breathe. I thought I
Did
was
you
gonna have
land
to
on
go.
the ground?
I'm sorry?
Were you on the ground?
No, I was
So now you carry an EpiPen?
I'm supposed to. I have one in
Yeah.
the car. I have one at home. If I'm going someplace where I think there could be you have to worry about cross contamination. This is the one thing that makes me crazy. You go to a restaurant and you have to say, are
Could you
the
have
whatever?
possibly?
Well,
In a
no. Some
seafood
places,
restaurant, right?
French fries are often cooked in the same fat as
Oh,
some kind of shellfish.
right.
Can't do it. Can't have them.
Yeah.
So that cross contamination is a thing. I was on a trip where we were at a restaurant. It was the only place we could eat. There was no place else. And they said, well, there's a high likelihood of cross contamination in everything we have.
Great. So you didn't eat that day.
No, I asked them if they would just clean out a skillet and take a steak out of a Ziploc bag and just,
And they didn't.
and they did it. Didn't touch anything else other than the skillet. And I didn't die.
Oh, well, good. I'm
It
glad.
is a good
I'm
thing
really glad about that.
because it was a
So-
good trip. I didn't want to miss the rest of it.
No, and you certainly don't want to miss doing this episode of the 60 Plus podcast
Right.
either, I'm sure.
So, what is it that people can do to
Well,
deal with
minimizing
allergies?
exposure, as you said,
Mhm.
in the antibiotics, healthy lifestyle and
Oh,
diet.
yeah.
That's interesting, right? It's like eating diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and probiotics helps your immune health, right?
Mhm.
So if your immune health is good and your diet is nutrient dense, that's going to help your body respond more effectively to things like allergies. And of course, we know this is true of most things, right? You got to stay healthy.
Mhm. Agreed.
Mm.
Yeah. There are things that can be done to deal with allergies if you've developed them.
Immunotherapy.
Immunotherapy, which everyone calls allergy shots, right?
Yeah.
You go like,
Well, here's the thing about that.
it doesn't always work.
Well, it doesn't always work, but it's also a long journey.
It is. It's years.
I mean, I get them. I don't know if I've ever confessed that, but not that it's anything real a big deal, but monthly I get 3 shots.
Breaking news: Janet
Yes.
gets allergy shots.
One for every single grass that I'm allergic to. And these were later, I just told you that I developed them 8 years ago.
Okay.
Severe.
Your house is surrounded by
I
grasses too.
know. Every tree, especially black birch, which my old house used to be surrounded by,
Oh.
and cats and dogs, which is really sad.
When you dog sit, are you in constant like discomfort?
No, because I get the shots, right? So now I have
okay.
an immunity. So you get basically pumped full of everything that you're allergic to.
In small doses, and then
Yeah,
they increase the
They
dose.
increase them over time.
Mm-hmm.
5 years.
5 years. And how often do you go?
The first year was once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's once a month.
Okay.
And they hurt,
Do they?
but they work. So I can't really complain about that. When I first experienced this and I went to my very first allergist, and I didn't know what was going on. And he said, "Well, what do you think you're allergic to?" And I said, well, I know I'm allergic to cats because when I go to my friend's house, she has a cat, and I start sneezing and wheezing, and my eyes are tearing. And he said, stop going to your friend's house.
Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Don't do that.
I was like, what?
Did you seek out a new allergist
Oh my
after
God,
that?
I did. Yes. The guy was horrible. He's like, I'm not from around here. I really don't know about the allergies around here. And he like throws me this card for his PA, physician's assistant. Maybe
Mhm.
they know. I'm like, isn't there a test or something that you do? And it was just like one of those ridiculous doctor visits.
Mhm.
So I went back to my primary care and I was like, you need to get this guy off your staff. And they sent me to a more
It must be a thing with
reputed
allergists because
allergist.
I go once a year, and the physician's assistant had a necklace on, and I said, "Oh, is that Martha's Vineyard?" And she said, "Yes, it is." I said, "Oh, we used to go to Martha's Vineyard all the time." And she said, "Oh, have you ever been such and such a place? They have the best lobster roll." And I said, "You know why I'm here, don't you?" She was so
He's like,
embarrassed.
you should try it.
She was very embarrassed when she realized that I
Yeah,
was
well,
there
this guy
with her.
wasn't embarrassed, I got to tell you.
So there's immunotherapy, which is the long commitment.
Yep.
But for a lot of, particularly pollen allergies and
Yeah,
that kind of
when
thing,
they're severe, yeah.
over the counter stuff can help quite a bit. And
Yeah.
I've had some seasonal allergies where I just
Yeah, Zyrtec.
squirt my nose and
Yep.
take a Zyrtec,
Neti
and that helps.
pots are good too.
Oh, it's so weird though.
I know, but it really does work.
It's so weird.
Yeah, but if you don't want to take antihistamines,
Mhm.
because they can make you sleepy too and dry.
I took a Benadryl one time. I was on the beach. I was on the beach with my kids. They were young, and I was like, "Don't go near the water. Dad can't stay awake. Dad is going to be asleep in 2 minutes. Don't go near the water." It was awful.
Well, at least you didn't feed them to them.
I can't even leave because I can't drive.
Well, and you know what's funny? I have the opposite reaction when I
To
take.
Benadryl?
Yes, I get hepped up like it's speed or
You're
something.
the only person I know
I know.
yeah.
I'm a kind of a weird duck, I guess.
Another thing, and I have this, is environmental adjustments. So like have an air purifier,
Yes.
and
You know,
especially in your bedroom.
yes, and I'm gonna get one of those. My daughter just sent me her recommendation, especially with the fires that have been going on around us,
Mm-hmm.
right? Talking about environmental
Brush fires,
factors,
yeah.
the brush fires, that is really having an effect on the air quality. So highly recommended. And don't sleep with your window open. That was the other thing I remember.
It's November.
No, no, I'm when the allergies. Come on. I remember there was like a public service announcement. It was with that guy, Hal. What was the actor?
Al Linden?
Yeah, I think
Barney-
so. Barney
Barney
Miller.
Miller.
Yes. I don't know why that sticks in my head, but that's
Me
pretty
neither.
scary that it does. Like, never sleep with your window open because if you have allergies, because they
Okay.
get worse at night or something. I don't know.
Another thing that's important to do is change your bed sheets frequently
All the time.
and get the
Shower before you go to bed because
Mhm.
pollen is sticky
Mm-hmm.
and it sticks to everything, your hair, your skin, your clothes, everything.
It's one good thing about having less hair.
Yeah.
I have less hair for it to stick to.
Yeah. Well, it can still stick to your skin or your head.
Okay.
And so, you lay down on your pillow, right? And then you put your turn and you got your
Mm-hmm.
nose in the pillow. Like it's not good. Pollen's a very weird thing. You can get actually special cleaning stuff to wipe away pollen because what happens is that if you dust, the pollen goes back up in the air and then sticks on other surfaces.
Hmm.
So it's very resilient. Do you know also
I'm sure I don't.
that a pollen cloud can travel like 350 miles over water?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like those really green,
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
sometimes you can see the green
Sure,
in the
yeah.
air. Those can travel.
I remember I was traveling on business. I was in Arizona, Remember everyone used to like
Yes.
move to Arizona that had
Because
severe
they
allergies?
had nope.
Well, everyone moved to Arizona and they planted all kinds of things that have pollen. And there was a
Exactly.
puddle on the ground and it was covered with that
Yeah.
yellow pollen. I was like,
Yes.
what?
Yes.
They,
When I first had these allergies, it goes in my eyes. You would not believe, like my
hmm
eyes would just be completely shut, right? And at first they started giving me steroids, and so it would go away, and then you'd get off the steroids and it would come back. But I remember I went to Arizona thinking, oh, well, clearly when I'm out in Arizona, I won't have a problem. I ended up in the walk-in clinic because my eyes were so swollen shut because of that very reason that you said. The landscaping brought in all this pollen. And then a couple weeks later, I went to Iceland and I thought, oh, Iceland, I shouldn't have a problem there. It's cold. There won't be a lot of, oh, the lupins were in bloom.
oh gosh.
And I had to walk through the airport with sunglasses on because I looked like I had been 10 rounds with Rocky Balboa. And that's my story, the end.
No, it's not the end. I'm sure we'll hear more. Now, there are things that you can do to boost your
I
immune
mean,
system.
yeah, let's hear.
Get plenty of sleep. I was very surprised
But
that
not with the window open.
not with no, not with the window open. Listen to Hal Linden. Get lots of sleep. Vitamin D, they say. I think it was vitamin D is what I saw.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, healthy diet, all
Right. And
exercise,
some
all that
people
kind
have said local honey, but you can't really eat enough honey for it to make a difference. That's
Oh,
my
really?
understanding. Yeah. That's
Mm,
my understanding. I know. Because that would kind of be a fun solution,
sure.
Unless you're going to lather your entire body with it.
Well, that might be fun. We should do an episode on that. But then the
Things you can
pollen will
lather
stick
your
to you
body
worse.
with.
The pollen will stick to you worse.
Yeah.
Manage stress. Stress affects your immune system.
Aha. Now it's all becoming clear.
I have a very good friend who will like this tip. Stay hydrated.
Yes. And oh my gosh, how many times between yoga and staying hydrated, like we have mentioned that as solutions to things so many times. Staying hydrated, yes.
And if you have allergies,
Regular exercise.
of course.
You skipped over that one,
I
Joe.
did. I skipped it.
Why did you skip over that one, Joe?
Because I wanted to give you something to talk about.
Oh, sure. You didn't want people to know about that because you don't want to be pressured into exercising. I know. Moderate exercise, 30 minutes most days, enhances circulation and immune resilience.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Vitamin
I'd rather
C.
just rub honey all over my body.
Okay. Nutrient rich foods, especially those with vitamin C, D, and antioxidants, there's your blueberries,
Mhm.
bolster immunity.
I have news.
What?
The price of blueberries
Oh,
has come
God.
down.
You told us that last week.
Did I?
Yes.
Well, it came down again.
You're so insane.
No. I'm so happy about the price
I'm
of
so
blueberries.
glad you're happy. Isn't
It's
that nice that
great
small
news.
things like that can make you happy?
It is very nice.
It is very nice.
Now,
So,
allergies change. They're not static.
yes, that's good.
And if you have allergies, what I read, and we're going to have a bunch of show notes. There's all kinds of
Yeah,
sources.
lots
on
of
this,
sources. Yeah.
is get retested about every 2 years
Yeah.
because in my situation,
It might change.
we just finished the summer of clams at my house.
Summer of clams.
Summer of clams, and I wouldn't have been able to have clams had I not been
Aw.
retested.
Yeah, that would have been a bummer.
It would have been a
So
bummer.
the other thing I wanted to talk about was that, how sometimes people are like, am I getting a cold? Am I the flu? Allergies? So one of the ways that you can tell that it's allergies and not a cold or flu is that symptoms will last as long as allergens are present. Okay, well, if you know what the allergens are, stuffy and runny nose, itchy, watery eyes.
If you close your window and you stop
you
sneezing,
treat-
it's
You
allergies.
can treat with antihistamines, decongestants, and nasal steroids.
hmm
But of course, if you have flu and cold, you have other
Symptoms.
conditions, sore throat and cough with a cold, and symptoms can last for up to 2 weeks.
hmm
So, you would see this, the allergens as they dissipated, your symptoms go away, then they come back, and then they go away and they come back.
So if you're at your friend's house that has a cat
and you're sneezing.
and then
It's
you leave,
probably allergies, yes.
and they go, and you stop sneezing
Unless you took all the dander home with you.
because you have honey rubbed all over your body, and
Exactly.
it's stuck
And
to
it's
you.
stuck to you. Then you have a trouble. Then you have a problem.
The honey doesn't cancel out the dander.
No. Okay. I can tell you're stuck on honey. Get it?
I get it.
Yeah.
All right. It's unfortunate that allergies can develop later in life,
It is.
but it's been my experience that people didn't realize that that's the case, that you can.
I know, right? It's like, I don't know. It's my neighbor. This, she the last couple of seasons, she's like, I don't feel well. And I'm like, they might be allergies. No, I don't have allergies. I don't know why that's like a point of weakness or something. Like if you admit that you have allergies, like, oh,
Yes.
you're a weakling. Very Darwinian. You get a response. It's very Darwinian.
I went through 3 or 4 years of seasonal allergies that were just awful.
Yeah.
And the last couple of years, not at all. Nothing.
Yeah. Good.
I still have the Zyrtec and the Flonase in my medicine chest, but I haven't used them in.
Well, they probably have expired. I'm just going to say.
I'll just rub them all over my body with the honey. All right.
I have a feeling that you're going to be using honey.
On my way home,
What is this really like?
I'm gonna stop and get some honey, local honey, not the expensive stuff.
Yes.
Not the stuff at the supermarket.
Yeah, you only want to use the expensive stuff
Right.
when you're using it on your body.
Mm-hmm. I've always thought honey's kind of a weird thing because it's like secreted from bees.
Well, when you say it that way, Joe,
Yeah, I mean, don't you think it's good?
really love honey?
Oh, it's delicious.
It's delicious.
How does it always get stuck on the bottom of the jar and like it doesn't matter what I
Same
do?
thing like with peanut butter.
You have a problem with peanut butter?
Yeah, getting the last bits out.
Oh,
Although when I give the empty jar to the dog, she somehow manages to get all the way to the bottom.
well, you're sneezing because you have the dog? Right.
No, she's beautiful. I don't sneeze with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's because you get the allergy shots.
Right. Probably.
And you have honey rubbed all over you.
Oh, stop with the honey. My God.
You're the one that mentioned it.
Wait, there's got to be like a limitation of how many times you can mention
No,
something
there's
in one episode.
No
I think
limitation.
5 is definitely pushing the envelope.
Did I tell you that the price of blueberries
Oh
has
my
come down?
God. Here's the thing. You might want to get tested for allergies because there are things that you can take to feel better.
And I think it's very important to point out that nobody should be taking medical advice from us.
Absolutely not.
Right.
What do we know?
We're just here to raise awareness.
Correct. We're a
And
conduit.
We are. And then don't go to Janet's allergist, but
Not the original one.
Find an allergist and get tested if you think you have allergies. They can be annoying, but they can be managed.
Yes.
And they might go away too.
Yes.
All
Let's
right.
hope.
I think that does it for this hot topic. Allergies in later life.
Woohoo.
Woohoo, something else to look forward to. So that's it for this episode of the 60 Plus podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.